how is emotional intelligence measured? Now, as you think about the answer, one thing that I will give as an explanation is that a number of different assessments have emerged to measure the levels of emotional intelligence in people. Some tests fall into the category of self-report tests, others focus on ability tests. There is no consensus that I've seen in the marketplace or in my study of psychology that says there is a perfect way to measure emotional intelligence. And as you think about the answer, I would love for you to share from two perspectives. If I'm measuring emotional intelligence, how do I measure it within myself? Because I need to understand myself before I interact with other people. But then the other part of the question is, how do I measure it in other people? Because the emotional intelligence of other people is sometimes going to impact or influence my response to those people. And so, recapping so that you are fully prepared. Hey, Todd, how does one measure emotional intelligence within themselves and within others as we seek to operate in the world?
So measurement, that's kind of a difficult bit of terminology because it seems to connect to an assessment tool or that type of thing. So I'm going to step away from that and look at measurement as a personal assessment with what your first point was within myself. The first measurement of growth in the world of emotional intelligence would be able to acknowledge, first being open to personal criticism. Being able to truly look in the mirror and go, okay, what problems do I feel I have? What are my stress points? Being able to, as Chaba has talked about, find what that root cause is and be willing to actually make effective change, to work on it. I look at it almost like the 5-second rule with dropping food on the ground. It's the same with your reactions. You have to take that 5 seconds before you react because somebody pulls in front of you on the road. Your immediate reaction could be that idiot, that person doesn't know how to drive. Why do they let people like that on the road? But maybe the person just had the phone call that their relative is in the hospital. Their action has not changed, but the background behind it has. But the problem is we don't know what the background is in either case. So the only thing where we can affect change is how we react to what we think we see. And many times in business, we use the overused graphic of an iceberg where 10% is above the surface and 90% is below. So I think the first part within ourselves is being willing to remember that usually our reactions are based on that 10% above the surface. We don't know what's going on with those around us. So that's the first level, is when we can realize that we can take that breath and step back. And then in other people, I think they go hand in hand. It's the same thing of not knowing what's going on with them and being empathetic in our communication, understand what could be beneficial to them, what could be a stress point for them. And I think on a simple level, an assessment on that would be, are we listening? Do we find ourselves ready to say something else when someone's talking? To me, that's not being emotionally intelligent. You're just waiting for them to shut up so you can focus on yourself. So I think being thoughtful and truly listening and hearing at the same time. So that would be how I would answer, looking at assessment within myself and with others.